Now we got some breaking news. This is very important news as it relates to the Nolan Willis situation. Let me be correct. This situation from the very beginning, and I did this show the other night about Nolan, his family coming out, speaking out. This whole situation is not adding up. That is the theme that you've been hearing. It is not adding up. And instead of listening to people, because there are black people out there that are already ready to condemn the family, because there's rumors that the family hasn't given the police their cell phone, the phone that was actually taken from Nolan. And this judge, Carlos Moore, out of he's from Mississippi. He was a warrant lawyer. He was a judge who gave out warrants for people's arrest on the bench, signed off on very important documents, and he actually knows this particular area of law very well, because when he was on the bench in Mississippi, he had to proceed over certain cases similar to this where groups of people were involved in something nefarious, and he had to put out a bench warrant for their arrest as the investigation further and further started to take off. So he said that he's taken off the gloves, and he's going to break down to you from experience as a judge. He retired. He's a lawyer. He is practicing law in Atlanta, Georgia, where he now resides. And the reason why he resides there is he said that Mississippi was just two races. He grew up there. He said even when he was on the bench, he noticed the racism, but he couldn't speak out because he was a sitting judge. He said the only reason why he can speak out on this particular case as it relates to Nolan is because he's no longer a sitting judge in Mississippi. And he says that Mississippi is still reeked with racism and the way they operate. And then y'all wonder why the family is hesitating with the phone, because they're probably following legal advice, because you never know what this Mississippi police department's, any Negro that believes Mississippi police out there, you out of your damn mind. They have a history of it. It's still going on to this very day. I'm not believing in anything that comes out of the police department down there, unless they are prepared to put out warrants and start arresting people. Because this brother right here, who I'm going to bring on in just a moment to let him hear what he had to say. He said he's resided over cases like this. And he said, first of all, they should have been arrested or put in custody just for the fact that they had his property, keys, phone. And remember the father, I'm going to play that again today at the press conference in New York with Al Sharpton and Crump. Say what you will about them. Matter of fact, I'm finding out that this is his stepfather. The reason why he has that name Willis is from his birth, his biological father. I think this is the stepfather or the brother that has married his mother, who had that last name Willis, because he has a grandfather, Willis Sr., Christopher Willis Sr. But either way, the brother has done a fantastic job guiding this young man. He said when he went to retrieve the keys to his car, they tried to act like they didn't know what was happening. On this picture, it will be the white boy to the far right. I mentioned this the other night, late night, to the far right. I believe he went to their house and they lied to the father. So anybody that thinks, oh, there's nothing nefarious going on here, you got another thing coming, man. This judge, I'm not going to listen to anybody on Facebook or anybody, even on these YouTube streets, who is speaking a different narrative, because now we have a brother who was a judge, has some years of experience, who broke down the proceedings because this is what he is familiar with, and we're going to hear what he has to say. Something nefarious went on this island, and we need to know what happened. They're hiding things and not telling the truth. Remember, Ben Crump said this. I just want to play this audio for you before I get into his break into the former judge, retired judge, Carlos Moore. Here we go. Listen to this.
And then you have the young lady make a statement, and she said, Nolan and I finished talking, and Nolan said he was going back to the boat. The boys on the boat said, no, Nolan told them he was going to stay with her. So which is it? And all we know is Nolan is dead.
You hear that? Let's bring on retired judge Carlos Moore, who used to reside as a judge in Mississippi, knows Mississippi well, and said he had to get the hell out of there because of the racism that was pervasive. And he saw a lot of things happening while he had time on the bench as a judge. Anybody out there talking otherwise, you need to go jump in the lake. Here is a professional, and I did some research. Yes, he was a judge. So for anybody out there, the ignorance out there that'll say, he ain't no real judge. No, he was a real judge there. I checked out his credentials. He's legitimate. He put this out on Facebook the other night ago. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. I did a couple of edit tweaks to it to add a little aestheticness to the video, but go right ahead, and I want y'all to hear this. Check this out.
I served for 6.5 years on the bench in not only Clarksdale, Mississippi, but I served for 4 years on the bench in Grenada, Mississippi. So come on in, invite your friends, invite your family, invite your relatives. If you want to hear a real person's experience as a judge in Mississippi, opinion about whether or not there should be an immediate arrest or arrest of those suspected of foul play in relation to the death of Nolan Wells off the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Come on in and hear it from the horse's mouth. Someone who had the authority to sign not only search warrants, but arrest warrants. Someone who presided over initial appearances, arraignments, and preliminary hearings for those accused of murder and other heinous crimes in Mississippi. I can talk now that I am a retired judge. Had I still been sitting as an active judge, I could not give you my opinion about an ongoing matter. But now I'm a retired judge, and I'm a practicing lawyer in Tennessee, and I reside in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm from the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
So he's a practicing judge or lawyer in Tennessee, resides in Atlanta, Georgia. I think he's running for political office as well. And I know people will say, oh, he's doing this because he's running for political office. It doesn't change the fact that man was a judge, knows Mississippi law as a judge on the bench, and he's going to break some things down here. Let's continue.
And I know the law, and I can give you my unfiltered opinion about what I believe should be occurring now or in the near future. Come on in. I have time tonight.
Come on in, everybody.
I have time. And I'll be happy to give you my opinions, and then I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. It's time out for playing games. It's time to know the truth from someone well-versed in it that has actual experience.
Facts.
I've worn the robe, the black robe, and I've presided over these trials or preliminary hearings, arraignments, and initial appearances. Let's get started. So what do we know? We know after watching the parents' interview and reviewing tons of footage from social media, recounting interviews and statements of alleged witnesses that were on Horn Island. We know that Nolan Wells went to spend the night on July the 3rd with his so-called friends.
Mm-hmm.
And he went with those so-called friends to Horn Island on a boat on July the 4th.
Facts.
We know that out of the 4 people on that boat,
Tell the truth.
1 did not return home. That one person was Nolan Wells.
That's right.
The other 3 returned home as normal, and
These guys right
said
here.
nothing to any member of law enforcement or to the Coast Guard until at least 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th. We know that at least one of the so-called friends was found with the phone of Nolan Wells. And we know this based on the testimony of the parents, specifically the mother, who tracked the phone
Facts.
and was led to the home of one of the young men where she retrieved the phone. We also know.
Now, remember everybody that we're going to come right back to that. Don't go anywhere, anybody. I'm putting this together very slowly. The judge, Carlos Moore, who you've been hearing from, said that the mother retrieved the phone. Yes, but it was the stepfather who was the one who had to retrieve she retrieved the phone. That's right. The mother retrieved the phone, but then the stepfather had to go up there, or the father, let me just say father. I'm just finding that information out about the relationship to Nolan. The stepfather had to go there, and matter of fact, both the mother and the stepfather experienced something. I just want to remind y'all of this before, because I had talked about this before. Let me play this. Hope this is the one that I want. Here we go.
Were you able to get a clear explanation as to the chain of custody of this phone, like how that parent came in possession of this phone? And then explain the resistance. You said you went to the home to get the keys. I don't understand, like, what kind of resistance? What was that exchange of words like? The resistance you received when you went to go retrieve his keys. Thank you.
He just acted like he didn't know where they were. He just he was like he was clueless. He was like, I don't know. Well, just please.
Talking about this.
Please go and look for me. Because, to be honest with you, at that time, I was very emotional. No one was giving me an answer. So
he was very emotional. Nobody gave him an answer. It was one of these 3, mainly the one on the right. Jax is his name, who was the one that acted like he didn't have anything, in this case, trying to retrieve the keys. There was resistance. If you're not innocent, if you're innocent, you didn't do anything. Why are you resisting the family getting the belongings of their son? And then they lawyered up so quickly, it would make your head spin, everybody. Let me continue this part, and we're getting right back to the judge because I'm trying to piece this together. You see. Let me, here we go.
that situation with me and them could have went totally left field. But since those other young kids were in there, at that moment, they kept me from doing what I wanted to do. So getting them and calming them down, it helped me focus on what I was really there for, to find the keys. And like I said, when I asked him, he said he went and looked. And so when he said he couldn't find them, I did what I needed. I left out of their home. And like I said, 5 minutes later, he come back out with the keys. And they didn't come back outside anymore until the police came.
The police came.
At that time, police were called because.
And he also goes on to say, everybody, I'm going to get back to the former retired judge, Carlos Moore. But the father here said that they called the police at that point. They didn't come back out, but they, acted like they didn't have anything. They were resisting. And then all of a sudden, voila, they find the keys. let's go back to the judge now. I just wanted to play that to coincide with what the judge had just said not too long ago right here. Here we go.
Or to the Coast Guard until at least 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th. We know that at least one of the so-called friends was found with the phone of Nolan Wells. And we know this based on the testimony of the parents, specifically the mother, who tracked the phone.
With 360
One
GPS.
of the young men, where she retrieved the phone.
Using 360.
We also know that based on the mother's testimony that Snapchat, there were no Snapchats from the day, which was very odd for her son. We also know
that was odd. Now, this is an area that I didn't catch quite a bit the other night when I went live late, that her son, Nolan Wells, Xavier Wells, was known to frequently post Snapchat, especially when he would go out to a place like Horn Island and have a good time. And remember, the father said that this was him trying to have a little bit of fun before he locked down for preparing for football. So that's unusual. A kid who normally would do Snapchat, which makes you say, well, Ben Crump was right. What young person nowadays, with all the social media that they love to use, would leave without their phone? Remember, he said these statements right here, just as a reminder.
What teenager would leave their phone behind if they're going to stay on this island? What teenager wouldn't take their phone? And so it's not adding up. It's not adding up at all. The fact, as Reverend Al said, they didn't take his phone with them. His mother, when she finds out that her baby is missing, they start trying to track the phone. The GPS the phone, they've used Life 360. And
Life 360.
Well, the phone is on land. The phone is on land, but you're saying he went missing.
Stop it right there. I just wanted to add that on top of what the judge or the retired judge has been saying so far. Let's go back to the retired judge Carlos Moore, practicing lawyer in Tennessee, residing in Atlanta, Georgia at this particular time. And he left practicing law and being a judge in Mississippi because of the racism. It was racially charged down there. He said that there was a lot of things that he saw. You're going to hear him say this. Go right ahead, my brother. Judge, let's go.
That text messages were deleted. We know that when she was tracking the phone, Life 360 said the phone was one place and Snapchat said it was another place.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the boy that had the phone did not voluntarily turn it over or call first. He had to be found through their own investigation. We know that based on witnesses' account, the so-called friends were seen on July the 5th, that Sunday, having breakfast together like nothing had happened. They were not out there searching for their so-called friend.
Wow.
We know that the so-called friends deleted their social media, deactivated their accounts, and scrubbed it clean if the allegations are correct.
You hear what he just said? That's a big deal. That is a big deal because it brings to the question of what do you have to hide?
We know that the young men or the young man that had the car at his house did not willingly turn over the keys.
Right. I just played that for y'all.
That he did not have the keys. He didn't know where they were. Then he, after being pressed.
Right. That's Jax to the far right with the shades. I talked about this the other night. He was not cooperating with the father, as I just played the audio of the father speaking on this just to reinforce the point of this video and where we're going today. Let's get back to the judge.
About the father, he finally turned over the keys. This is all very suspicious activity.
Yes.
We know that based on an audio recording and some video that Nolan Wells can be heard saying, "Give me my freaking keys." Excuse me, "Give me my freaking phone." And
right. Now, I just wanted to say this real quick. His friend, who's supposed to be his best friend, has done an interview with TMZ. A lot of the naysayers are trying to say, see, this isn't racial. If you look at that video, when they asked his friend, did he think it was racial? You could tell he really didn't want to get into that area. He paused. He took a long pause because he did not want to say that. See, young people today, the way they look at race is totally different than a baby boomer or a Gen Xer like myself because of what we experienced and then our forefathers before us. These kids are going to school with different races of kids. They're hanging out. They're kicking it. He did admit during that TMZ video that it was normal to see black kids with white kids and to be hanging out, what have you, because it's a different generation. They don't look at race. I'm just saying generally. They don't look at race in the same way that some of us more seasoned veterans who understand this country we call America and where race is. This is a kid. You could tell he felt very uncomfortable. Now, he said that he believed that there was someone else that he knew that they were trying to get off the island that was acting a fool. But he never was on that island when the commotion happened. He just made an assumption that it was probably someone else. He didn't know 100% because he wasn't on the island. He just assumed that it wasn't Nolan that was into an argument, but how would he know any more than any of us if he was there, but he wasn't on the island, or he wasn't, how can I say this? He was on the island. Remember, he stated that the last time he saw, or when he did see Nolan, it was around 4 p.m. He never said, oh, me and Nolan were hanging out the whole time on the island, because we got people out here running with this notion that, oh, see, he said it wasn't a race thing, so it must not have been race. How do you know that? How does anyone know that if you weren't there at that time when this whole thing went down? He simply said that he didn't think it was a race thing because these kids live in this community. They hang out, they go to school, what have you. This younger generation, they don't have, I got to be honest, they don't have some of the racial hangups that the older generation has because of the fact that they're going to school and they're dating and they're intermingling with other race of kids. Doesn't mean that those kids can't be racist or harbor racist views or their parents can't. But he wasn't on the island when all that stuff happened. Wait a minute. He was on the island, but he wasn't with Nolan at the time that stuff was happening. He was nowhere near him when it happened. So I just wanted to clear that up because we're talking about TMZ, and you know what TMZ is about. They're just about sensationalism. They're just about getting a story that they can sell and get the clicks and views and make it sensational. And you got a young person who obviously felt very uncomfortable getting into the issue of race. Of course he would. Their generation is different. If you would have asked someone of my generation, we wouldn't have a problem breaking that shit down because it's a different day that we live in. And these kids look at race and sexuality I mean, these kids are going to school with people that are binary, non-binary, using all different pronouns. People that are gay, girls with girls, men. They are going to school with people of all different nationalities and sexual preferences. So these kids are not as sensitive to these issues as us folks in the older generation. That's where I'm trying to get at here. So I just want to lay that out because a lot of people are looking at that as, oh, his friend has broke the story. See, that still doesn't explain why these kids right here, as the judge said, and I'm going to go back to him in just a minute, that still doesn't explain why they left him. There's mix up in stories. The girlfriend said one thing. You heard we play Benjamin Crump saying the girlfriend said one thing, they said another. It still doesn't explain why Jax on the far right was acting funny and suspicious when the father came to get keys. And the judge, Carlos Moore, broke that part down. Let's get back to the judge.
And it's been two different versions. Some said he said, "Give me my."
Thank you, everybody,
phone,"
for
or
being
some
here.
said he said, "Give me my ML phone." Regardless, he was asking or demanding his phone. Someone had his phone who did not have permission to have his phone. So the first thing I see, the simplest thing I see, is who had his phone and why.
Right.
And was that theft of the phone?
Ooh.
Sometimes we look at the largest case, we try to get to murder, but the person that took his phone committed a crime right there. There are witnesses to who took that phone. If an affidavit is signed, an arrest warrant could be signed by a judge in Mississippi to go after that person that had that phone unlawfully. No, based on his own words, Nolan Wells' words while he was alive, he did not give whoever had that phone permission to have that phone. So
that's right.
Was that theft?
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, there was the argument or the audio where there was an argument Ben Crump was talking about that Nolan was saying something about his phone. There was an issue that was put out there allegedly. I got to say alleged because it's still under investigation, but there was alleged by Benjamin Crump that there was an issue on that audio centering Nolan Wells' phone. Back to the judge.
I think if an affidavit is signed, if it was presented to me when I was a judge, I would have signed an arrest warrant for the person for theft.
That's right.
Phone, based on what I've heard. It have to be an affidavit format, but if it was presented to me in affidavit format from law enforcement, I would sign the arrest warrant.
Facts.
For at least at this point, theft of the man's phone.
Right.
We know who had it. We know who didn't report it to the family. The family had to go find it, and we know that Nolan Wells said give it back to him.
Natural Beauty.
It was not given back to him.
Right. Natural Beauty, Patty's Kitchen, and everybody that's here. I see we got my man, the real Aaron Collins, Diva, Perfection in the house. Everybody, thank you for coming over and joining the program. I'm going to let it continue to play. I may not do too much talking to you guys until this is over and pull up your thoughts on the screen. I may just pull up your thoughts while the judge is speaking, but I just want to let this all flush itself out. Here we go. Back to the judge.
Why was that? All of the other things I've stated, you piece it together.
Mm-hmm.
Is there enough right now for arrest warrants for murder?
House of Entertainment, thank you for being here.
That is a good question. I do know at this point there should have been search warrants signed by a judge. Evidence
Patty's
should have been presented
Kitchen
to a
and
judge
more.
by now. We are nearly 7 days after July the 4th, when he was first reported missing. There should have been evidence submitted by Jackson County
Generation Z
law
children.
enforcement
That's right,
agents,
brother.
the sheriff's department specifically, presented to a judge so that search warrants could be signed by the judge, and there needs to be, or should have been, someone questioning the young men, the three so-called friends,
Right.
and and others, and their social media accounts need to be searched by now.
Any love. Good to see you here, sister.
Or at least a search warrant should have been issued for the appropriate entities to give the law enforcement access to the social media information. That should have been done by now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you what I imagine. I'm telling you what the process usually is when you're trying to do a thorough investigation.
Right.
And based on what's revealed from a thorough investigation, I do believe once the evidence is secured, it's going to lead, and it should lead to the arrest of one or more individuals.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
For the murder of Nolan Wells.
Oh, yeah.
All of the actions.
Murder is a legal term, everybody. Look, I'm glad the judge said what he said there, because this is the question I want to ask everyone in the chat room and everyone that will be watching this video on the replay. He went out there with people who he thought were his friends. Let me just put this up real quick, right? And of course, there are, some of us are saying, hey, what is this black boy being out there with all white kids? It could be a dangerous situation. Going back to what I said, this G generation, this new generation out here, they're going to school, they're living in a community. That's why his best friend kind of froze up on that TMZ video, like I said, and didn't want to talk about race, because he basically admitted that living out there is pretty normal to see black kids with white kids and being the only one or whatever. But this is the question I want to make the argument right here for, ladies and gentlemen. You see this. I want y'all to imagine, because the judge there said that he would have issued warrants for arrest for potential murder, holding someone's property without giving it back, having to be made to give it back. But the question, you have to look at this picture very heavily, and you got to say to yourself and use your imagination here. We don't have to use imagination. We know this is a fact. What if it was a white boy? What if Nolan was a white guy and he went on a boat with all black people, his 3 black friends, and he didn't come back alive? Look at this photo right here.
Information is power.
I say again, look at the photo. Use your imagination, or no, we don't have to use imagination. We know this is facts over facts over facts over facts and truth.
Tell the truth.
What if the roles were reversed and it was 3 black kids, young men, college aged or high school aged, and they was on the boat, and Nolan was white, like you see right here, instead of black. And all of a sudden he comes back. Everybody comes back home from the island. Come on, damn video. I appreciate everybody that's here. Make sure you share this video in your social media. Share it in your community tab. Share it, push this through the algorithms. So let's say you got Nolan is a white guy. He goes to Horn Island, near Louisiana, New Orleans. He's out there. He's out there on the island with all black kids. Imagine if all these kids were black and one white kid. Just imagine. And the white kid doesn't show back up home alive. He's missing. The mom doesn't know where he's at. What's going on? And the black kids, the black guys, the black youth, they just go on about their merry way and they go home. And let's say one of the black kids in this picture just happened to have his keys to his car, have his cell phone, and then Nolan's father, his white father, would have to go what? Knock on their door to say, give me my son's keys. You know damn well they're going to come there with the police. You know damn well they're going to call the police to come there to get them keys. Not only that, you know damn well that all these 3 black guys on this photo that you see right here would be in handcuffs and be under custody when there's talk about misinformation, stories that don't add up. Stories that don't add up, like the girl that he was supposedly with.
And then you have the young lady make a statement, and she said, Nolan and I finished talking, and Nolan said he was going back to the boat. The boys on the boat said, no, Nolan told them he was going to stay with her. So which is it?
Boom. So imagine if these 3 black guys here told people that, no, we thought white Nolan was going to stay back with the girl. But the girl tells the media, no, white Nolan said he was going back to the boat to go back with his boys, the black guys. You know, if all this inconsistency came out right away, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You would know every one of these black kids' name. You would know where they live. You would know what school they go to. You would know if they had a criminal background. The media would already tell you how much marijuana they smoked, what their criminal background is, if they had one. Then you would have your usual buck dancers and raccoons that would come out and tell you, these 3 black guys that caused harm to the white guy, Nolan, man, this is what's wrong with black culture. You would have the Jason Woodlocks that would eat this up. They would say, I bet you they don't have a daddy at home. They come from single mamas. And they went out there with that good white boy. And that white boy didn't come back. And they should have arrested them. They should be arrested. They should be interrogated. What they doing with Nolan? What they doing with white Nolan's cell phone? What they doing with white Nolan's keys? And see, their father had to go to the house and even bring the police to get the keys back. They guilty as hell. Call the sheriff's department. Call the penal institutions and lock them up. They would all be arrested in police custody right now, even before they could have lawyered up. But when you flip it from that, and you flip it back to what the real reality is that this is the real reality right here.
Tell the truth.
The real reality, as we know as black people in America, is that if you've got the complexion will get you the protection, baby.
Tell the truth.
When you're in America, and that's what the Z generation don't understand fully. That's why Nolan's good friend sat up there on the TMZ video talking about, there was no race. He didn't know. He wasn't on the island when the incident happened where there was a dispute over the phone. He wasn't nowhere around Nolan to see him go missing. He didn't see anything. He can only go based on the fact that, hey, I got white friends. Nolan's got white friends. We got black friends. We got Asian friends. Hey, it's one kumbaya out here. The Z generation isn't informed and experienced enough to understand what some of us older folks understand about how race works in America. Because these white boys could have parents that are judges, lawyers, powerful people that can get them out of some shit. Just like this Ashley character right here, the judge who has a son, remember? Who has a son. And she's already had it what? Shut the social media down, scrubbed the social media, and is already lawyered up. She's a judge herself. And remember, she made these statements. I read this on the other night. A Mississippi judge whose son was on the boat trip with the 18-year-old who drowned, they say, claimed her child left his friend behind because the vessel was taking on water. Another different story. Ashley Cole, the mother of Warren Hudson, said that he and his friends departed without Nolan Wells due to a mechanical problem around 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Wells' so-called best friend said that he last saw Wells at 4. Remember, I talked about that in the other video. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. That's a lie. This little thing right here that the judge Ashley said, that Ms. Cole said, this is another misnomer, another problem in the story. Because why? His mother did the 360 on the GPS, and it showed that the phone was on the main line, but he wasn't on the main line, the mainland, should I say. They're saying right here in this statement that Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return to inland later with another group of friends, she said. This is what the mother said, because guess what? She was out there. That's something else that I'm finding out, y'all, that the judge, Ms. Coles, was out there. She made this statement, but guess what? It don't make any sense, because if that was true, that he was getting on another ship to go back to the inland or mainland, why did the mother with the 360 GPS find out that she found a signal that it was on land, but he wasn't on land, but yet the phone was in the hands of one of the usual suspects to the right, Mr. Jacks? Imagine if this was the same circumstances where you had three black young men on a boat and Nolan was white, that you see the white Nolan right there. He goes missing. You know damn well this is Mississippi. This is Mississippi. All hell would break loose. White folks would be looking for a total investigation in which these individuals would be brought in for questioning, heavy interrogation, and be locked up, charges filed, something filed on them for having his possessions. And people would be saying all over social media, see, this is the problem with black culture. See, this is the problem with black people. See, what are we going to do, black people? Because we got Negroes all over social media, Facebook and YouTube talking about black people. We got a problem. Our culture is a dumpy culture. We got a culture in which we allow our kids to go buck wild. That would certainly be the narrative if it was that situation. Hit sevens if y'all hearing the presentation that I'm giving you, what I'm saying, if it makes any sense. Let's go back to the judge. I had to add that part to this. Let's go back to the judge. Here we go.
Very suspicious. And right now, they lead one to believe that one or more persons could have been involved with the death.
Pink Lady, thank you for being here. Another CG, thank you.
Wells. Right now, we have a lot of unsworn testimony, but once that is put into affidavit format and there is corroborating evidence through social media, computers, or otherwise, I believe that at that point, there will be enough evidence for a judge to sign an arrest warrant.
Yes.
I think critical evidence that's missing right now are the results of the autopsy, the state's autopsy, and the independent autopsy. That's going to be critical information. Mm-hmm. And
we're waiting on that.
Or that in
Point Blank's Travel. Good to see you, brother. Thank you.
Already known.
Make sure y'all check his channel out.
Maybe enough to lead to an arrest or arrest. We do know at this point, low-hanging fruit. There should be an investigation about the underage drinking. Who provided alcohol? Those individuals could be immediately arrested based on if there was any sworn testimony presented to a judge. I believe a judge could immediately sign an arrest warrant for those who provided alcohol to underage individuals.
Oh, see, this is another angle that nobody has gotten into. That if this incident could have been viewed, if something happened to Nolan, okay, this is just a scenario. This is just a scenario, but this is a judge that's breaking this down because he knows the law in Mississippi. If there was alcohol, liquor involved, in underage youth amongst this crowd that he was there with, if that in any kind of way could have contributed to a potential impact on Nolan. Let's say they were out there drinking it up. And you know, when people get liquor in them, that's when things can get kind of dangerous. Let's say if they find out through evidence that the kids were drinking, that there was some heavy drinking going on that may have contributed, then the people who provided the liquor, whether it be adults, because you did have a judge, I'm not accusing, I'm just saying she was out there. But if there was some heavy drinking, her son was out there she go with him. If there was some drinking that could have contributed to whatever, unfortunately, potentially, allegedly could have happened to Brother Nolan, then those that were involved in providing such elixirs, such spirits, y'all know what that means, they could be held liable. You see what I mean? Again, judge.
There will be enough evidence for a judge to sign an arrest warrant. I think critical evidence that's missing right now are the results of the autopsy, the state's autopsy and the independent autopsy. That's going to be critical information. And that alone, or that in connection with what's already known, may be enough to lead to an arrest or arrest. We do know at this point, low-hanging fruit, there should be an investigation about the underage drinking, alcohol. Those individuals could be immediately arrested based on if there was any sworn testimony presented to a judge. I believe a judge could immediately sign an arrest warrant for those who provided the alcohol to underage individuals. There's a lot of people, a lot of potential crimes, some misdemeanors and felonies that people could be held accountable for. Was there any boating while intoxicated? Who was the captain of the boat? And what did he allow?
Boom. Very good point, sir. This is a judge, Carlos Moore. He resided in Mississippi for a number of years. He said he had to get out of Mississippi because he could see the racism has not changed. He said that it was the system there was flawed. He could see it as a judge. And he says the only reason why he can speak his mind now is because he's retired now. He's going back to being a lawyer, does law in Tennessee, but lives and resides in Atlanta, Georgia. The ATL. He says that the people, if these kids were drinking and they were getting a little, high off the spirits, that the people that were driving the boat that allowed them to travel around like that, they could be also seen as liable too. See, this is legal talk here, y'all. This is a lot bigger than we think. This is a big if this Mississippi Police Department or force does a proper investigation, which I don't think, because why? Because of who Nolan is, and what he looks like. This is my personal opinion, knowing the history of Mississippi, and the judge himself said that they're funny style out there still. If they don't do the proper investigation to dot their I's and cross their T's in the fashion that the judge is talking about, then this stuff may not come up.
On his boat, if there were any illegal drugs possessed by anyone.
Facts.
Drugs are still illegal in Mississippi. At least they were when I was on the bench. Drug possession, drug use, selling of drugs, dealing drugs, trafficking drugs. We've heard testimony, or allegations at least. I don't think anything's been put in affidavit format yet, about rampant drug use among certain individuals.
Boom. Have you all heard that? That there may have been potential individuals in this crowd that Nolan was with. That there could have been some potential. He said that it has to be put in affidavit format. But there's potential for it. But the question is, will the police out there actually do their due diligence to bring forth these sort of evidence, these sort of situations that could play into the reason why potentially Nolan is no longer with us? Because his best friend already said that there was somebody out there that was acting a fool, that they were trying to get out of there, right? Now, is that the person? Who knows? But we know that Nolan's not with us. We know the judge is saying that there's potential that there were people out there getting high on substances. I got to say this, allegedly, because it would have to be formally submitted to a judge. Because once again, some of these folks should be, and there should be some warrants written out on their you know what asses.
So there are a lot of things that's been alleged. Once put into the correct format, affidavit wise, it could lead to arrest for several things, including misdemeanors and maybe even felonies. So there's a lot left to do. We are not rushing to judgment, but I just thought I would come on here and tell you that there definitely should be search warrants issued by now. And there could be arrest warrants for certain crimes issued by now. But for the ultimate crime of murder, it is probably wise to wait to see what the autopsy reveals.
Very good point, Judge.
Or both autopsies reveal, and then parcel that together with all the video footage, all the witness statements taken, any affidavits gathered, and then make a
y'all hear what he's saying?
decision.
Y'all hearing it? Put sevens in the chat room if y'all can hear.
For a judge to decide whether or not to
Tell the
sign
truth.
a warrant for the arrest of one or more individuals. It would be very interesting to see what the autopsy shows.
Yes, that's what I'm waiting for.
There's also the potential for kidnapping.
Uh-oh.
It needs to be looked at whether or not they can get to murder. Was there kidnapping?
Uh-oh.
Was this young man taken somewhere against his will?
Oh, you can't do that.
At any point?
Good point, Judge.
Was there abuse of a corpse even after he died? So there's
Oh,
a
my
lot
God.
of things that need to be looked at from various law enforcement perspectives. Law enforcement has to do their job and get the information to a judge in the right format before a judge.
But see, this is the thing though, brother Judge Carlos Moore. Can you trust the law enforcement out there to dig up to turn over, to leave no stone? What's that term? To leave no stone unturned. My concern is that they may not do that, because why? The family has constantly said in interviews so far that they want Nolan to get the same treatment. Even Benjamin Crump, Attorney Crump, has said this, that they want Nolan to get the same due process for who could have taken his life potentially, if that's in fact what happened, that he should be getting the same process that anybody would get, no matter what race, creed, sex, whatever they are. Shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter. What matters is that they should get the justice. My concern, because good brother Judge Carlos Moore, you've already said, even in this video, as I'm going to continue to play it to the end, that Mississippi and things have not necessarily changed in the way they go about doing what they do down there. Now, you admitted that in this video, which is why I agree with what you're saying, but I'm concerned because I don't know if this police department will go to that latitude, because they already were putting out there that, oh, it's just a drowning, right? That's already been, the family does not accept that. And they always give black people excuses when things happen to our kids.
Tell the truth.
Let's go.
Had I still been on the bench, if I wanted to act, I could not act unilaterally. I would have to wait till law enforcement brought me the evidence in the right format before I could sign an arrest warrant, before I could sign a search warrant. And so that's how the process works. That's how the process works. And so I am happy to be a retired judge. I'm always going to shoot it to you straight with no chaser. Straight with no chaser.
Here he comes.
I will tell you the God honest truth. I can tell you this one thing. I may have been born at night.
Uh-oh, here we go.
But I was not born last night.
Last night, that's right. That's right.
One thing about it.
Tell the truth.
You cannot fool the informed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on the inside. I know the process. And we will not sit quietly and allow this to be swept under the rug. I will call your hand. I will call your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to play these people for a fool. You are not going to play these people for a fool. We know the process. We know what you should be doing. And by God, I plan to make sure you do it. Or we're going to call you out each and every time.
Good.
There is a process.
Tell the truth.
What I do know is, had the roles been reversed,
Oh!
by now, there would likely have been already arrests made.
What did I just say earlier in the podcast, ladies and gentlemen? Had roles been reversed like you see here on this picture, it would be a different story. As I said before, people would be calling for these black young men to be arrested, to be investigated to the highest level of the law. They would be in handcuffs. They would be interrogated. They would definitely be arrested and questioned for why they had items that belonged to Nolan if Nolan was white. It would be a whole different story, as the judge is saying. I'm telling y'all the truth. If it was this situation you see right up here, let's go, judge. Let's go.
Wouldn't have taken all 6 days, 7 days, whatever the amount of days it's going to take. Had the roles been reversed, justice, the wheels of justice spin quickly.
Right.
Somebody would have been arrested for something
Help.
by now.
Right.
But since the roles are what they are, we are expected to be patient, and they're going to cross every T and they're going to dot every I.
Tell the truth.
In the investigation before they make a move. Because of...
I'm not so sure about that, Judge Carlos Moore. I'm a little concerned about that. I'll be honest with you, Judge.
The people that are potentially involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the criminal justice system works, unfortunately. If you have access to power...
Tell the truth.
Or money. In some instances, if you're the right color or the right hue.
Just like this. Judge Ashley Coles, who has a son who was involved, who was out there, who's already scrubbed the social media. All these kids have scrubbed their social media. And when white people have privilege in this country, they have money, they have resources, the law, you'll see how they can bend the law to their favor. That's been a historical fact. Sexy Red 67, thank you for the super chat, my sister.
Thank you for the super chat.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for coming through and giving us support as you have been giving us support lately. Let's get back to the judge.
You will get the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm. Music Man.
Regardless of all of that, based on what I've heard not in the affidavits I've seen. If the affidavits come to support what I've heard, I do believe, especially with the autopsy, once that is in, and then if we look at the body to see if there were any bruises or anything else, it should lead to the arrest of one.
Yes, yes, yes.
For murder.
Wait a minute. Damn it. Thank you, music, Mr. DJ Music. Yes, I must say this. I must say this. Yes, this judge, right, this brother right here, the reason, one of the other reasons why he's not a judge, he retired, but one of the things that happened to him out there in Mississippi, Carlos Moore, is that he spoke up about black issues. He was on code. And because of him being on code, he took a lot of criticism. He took a lot of hatred, a lot of haters. I bet you they're glad that he's no longer practicing as a judge in Mississippi. He had to get out of there. He's going to bring that up in this video that I'm playing. I think he's going to talk on that for a brief moment. But you're absolutely right, Mr. DJ Music. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me. I was going to bring that up, but you just reminded me to bring it up before he brought it up. Yes, everybody, this brother is on complete code. Because I know somebody gonna say, "Oh, he just doing all this talking because see, he live in Atlanta and he has aspirations to run for local. You know, he's running for local office down there in Atlanta, right? People gonna say, "Oh, see, he running for office. That's why he doing all this talking." This incident didn't happen in Atlanta. It happened out there in the Mississippi area. 2, this man got criticized and may have got pushed out of his judgeship. That might have caused him to retire because he was being hated on by the usual suspects, okay, for speaking out on black issues in a racist place we know as Mississippi historically. Thank you, DJ. Appreciate that reminder. You just like sparked me up there a little bit there, brother. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
Damn it, I should have brought that up to y'all a lot earlier. And thank you again, Sexy Red 67. Let me see, covering eyes on. Let me see. She says that the YT club with the police chief and another corrupt judges. Yeah. And see, this brother, he went under scrutiny for speaking up for us. I'm glad that brother DJ, Mr. DJ Music, and make sure y'all check out his channel, that he came in and he gave me that reminder that I just needed. Thank you very much. Let's get back to the judge because I think he will talk on it a little bit. Let's go.
For accessory to murder, for conspiracy to commit murder, aggravated assault, kidnapping, and a list of other possible things. But right now, I could say that based on that video evidence of him demanding his phone back, someone could immediately be arrested for theft.
You hear what the judge says? That is key right there.
Wrongful conversion of his property. And once you make that first arrest, you start putting pressure on people. It becomes very serious at that point. No one wants their loved ones sitting behind bars, even jail bars, definitely not prison bars.
Facts.
It becomes very serious at that point, and there are persons of interest that should have been interviewed by now. Should have been questioned, picked up, and taken to the station, even if they didn't voluntarily go. There are certain people that should be classified as suspects by now. They should not just be persons of interest. They should be actual suspects.
Facts.
I do not agree with the sheriff saying right now foul play is not suspected. He should have said, right now it is too early to tell one way or the other, if he was going to say anything and try to be fair and impartial.
See, this is coming from a judge of experience. Remember, that's why I kept saying that the judge here, Carlos Moore, is saying they got to gather more evidence. They got to do this and do that, dot their I's, cross their T's. But the problem is, I don't know if this jurisdiction down there in Mississippi, that the sheriff is going to do right by Nolan's family, because the judge himself already said he didn't like the way he's already presented and made this a notion that, oh, it's just a drowning. That's just it. No, nothing else that happened. So I'm concerned too. What's going to come out of this?
Because all of this suspicious stuff, the suspicion and the actions of the individuals themselves lead you to believe that something is awry.
Mm-hmm.
And the stories are not adding up. The stories are not adding up. So if you believed that he stayed with a young lady, why were you calling the Coast Guard at 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th?
Ooh, did you hear what he just said? If you believe that that Nolan stayed with a young lady at 4 p.m., why are you calling the Coast Guard? Let's hear that again. Wow. Everything's it's going to be revealed, y'all.
Should have been questioned, picked up, and taken to the station, even if they didn't voluntarily go. There are certain people that should be classified as suspects by now.
Mm-hmm.
They should not just be persons of interest. They should be actual suspects. I do not agree with the sheriff saying right now foul play is not suspected. He should have said right now it is too early to tell one way or the other if he was going to say anything and try to be
right. So he should have never said that foul play is not. But see, if he's thinking like that, though, Judge, then we have to think to ourselves critically: is he even going to look for foul play if they already have it in their mindset that it's not foul play? Why would they look for something that they already believe isn't? You know, you get what I'm saying? Everybody put sevens in the chat room. Let me read my man, the real Aaron Collins. Good to see you over here. He says, let me see what he's saying right here. He says, after what happened to Emmett Till, what's going on in Mississippi shouldn't surprise us. No, it should not surprise us at all, ladies and gentlemen. It should not. You're absolutely right, Aaron. None of this should surprise us. And thank you for the super chat, everybody, for the support over here. I appreciate it. More people will watch this after the replay. I tend to get a lot more people viewing my videos nowadays after the fact. Let's get back.
Fair and impartial. Because all of this suspicious stuff, the suspicion and the actions of the individuals themselves lead you to believe that something is awry.
Mm-hmm.
And the stories are not adding up. The stories are not adding up. So if you believed that he stayed with a young lady, why were you calling the Coast Guard at 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th? And why did the Coast Guard somehow forget that and then remember it? And
oh, did you just hear what he said? Call the Coast Guard at 11 o'clock in the night on July 4th. And then the Coast Guard forget.
And the actions of the individuals themselves lead you to believe that something is awry. And the stories are not adding up.
Mm-hmm.
The stories are not adding up. So if you believed that he stayed with a young lady, why were you calling the Coast Guard at 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th?
Mm-hmm.
And why did the Coast Guard somehow forget that and then remember it
later on?
And
damn.
It's just very strange. And why would you lawyer up before there is even a body found? If my best friend died by drowning accidentally,
Mm-hmm.
the last thing I'm going to be doing is hiring a lawyer. I'm going to be too busy grieving my friend's accidental death.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not, in my wildest imagination, ever think that anyone would suspect me of a crime. Accidents happen all of the time. All of the time. And one thing about it, if I had been there when he drowned, I would probably been so exhausted from trying to save him that I wouldn't have time to think about hiring a lawyer or time for my parents to think about hiring a lawyer. And if I am recalling things correctly, I do believe that one of those
X-Man Road, welcome to the stream.
Went out.
Jay the Informant, welcome to the stream,
now, this
brother.
is a bunch of young folks.
India, good to see you here.
Mothers got on Facebook and said she went to the island at some point. Why was she there? What was she doing?
Good to see you here, sister.
She was not in their age group. I don't know too many parents that go
Oh, he's talking about remember I told y'all earlier in the stream that this woman who's a judge might have been hanging out there, and he's saying it right now. I don't know too many grown people hanging out with kids. Remember she made this statement. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends, she said, but the mother found on the 360 GPS that the phone was on land, but he wasn't on land. He was, in terms of the mainland, he was still on the island, or never left the island, should I say. See, this woman right here, the judge who's scrubbed up her social media, scrubbed her son's social media. They've lawyered up as quickly as possible, but yet she gave out a statement. She put out a statement about how she went to school with Wells' mother and how the community loves them or how they love them and all that kind of stuff. Very, very suspect. Oh, yeah.
Teenage gathering or young person's gathering. What was she doing? I'm curious to know.
Yeah.
I'm not even on the bench anymore, but I'm very curious to know what she was out there doing and who she may have been coaching.
Right.
Or what she may have been an accessory to. It's very odd that she was out there, because I'm sure she was not on the guest list.
And her son was out there. That's the son right there again. Wow.
When I tell you I'm tired, it's because I am. It's time for us to have the knowledge. I got my law degree in 2002. So you're looking at somebody that has nearly a quarter of a century of experience in the legal realm.
Let me stop this real quick, and I want to thank someone for a super chat. I think this is Patricia Tower, 1036. She gave me a $9.99 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
I also want to write down something that someone wrote in the chat room. Good sister that's been rocking with the channel. Good to see you over here. It's been a minute, but I know you're still rocking. I respect the protesters who demand answers. In a case. Keep applying pressure. Too many of our children have been concluded as accidental. You're absolutely right. Thank you for that. That's truthful.
Tell the truth.
We're going to keep telling the truth over here. Let's go back to the judge and what we have remaining of the judge right now.
I spent 6.5 years on the bench. I am not going to mislead you, because too many of us have gone along to get along for too long. I have to meet my makers face in peace. I have to look myself in the mirror. I'm not going to betray you. Enough is enough is enough. I know no one wants to see their loved one go to prison or be held accountable.
Hey, it could be. Wait a minute. Let me say this. Somebody wrote this. This is a good statement here. Let me see. Is this another Alex Murdaugh cover up? Hey, we'll have to see we're going to have to see. And let me shout out Mrs. We got Kim Bling and Bar in the house. Mrs. MZ Kim Bling and Bar. Make sure y'all check out that sister's channel. Especially the ladies here. Well, because she actually definitely has beautiful merchandise, jewelry, necklaces, all the good stuff over there. Thank you for being here, sister. Appreciate you. Let's get back to it.
you might as well get ready to wear it. No one is above the law.
Mm-hmm. No one.
And if you can't do your job,
and make sure everybody, we always say like the video because that helps it through the algorithm, but make sure you also hype the video. YouTube has a new system now where I think if you look at if you're using your cell phone and you got the 3 little bars or 4 little bars that you can move from comment section to live stream section, then there's this thing called hype, and you can use points to hype this video up through the algorithms. Make sure with all the videos that I put out that you definitely do that. Appreciate you. Let's go.
because you're friends with certain people, you need to recuse yourself. Recuse yourself and let somebody that can do their job correctly do it.
Right. I agree, Judge.
I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have about the process or anything I just said. There is a criminal justice process. And I know how things should go. And when they don't go as they should, you have to ask yourself why. Again, I'm Judge Carlos Moore. I've been coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been living here now nearly 3 years, but Mississippi is home. The Gulf Coast is home. I know several members of the Wells family and the Wansley family, and again, they have my deepest condolences for their loss.
Oh, wow.
It's tragic.
He knows members of the family.
You trusted your loved one to spend time with. Left an island without having the decency to account for your son. That's sad.
It is sad.
The level of pain. And I've heard some people say that the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Divisions to come in and investigate, or the FBI, MBI, who actually has jurisdiction to do this. Those are good questions. We may need more assistance besides the local law enforcement to get down to the
right. But this is the problem, Judge Carlos Moore. This is the problem, Counselor. We're under the Donald Trump administration. Donald Trump has gutted the DOJ when it comes to civil rights, when it comes to these sort of peculiar things that are happening. The question is, because it's a black kid, will the Donald Trump DOJ really look to hold these folks accountable if there's some foul play here? Because we talking about a president who controls a DOJ where he says he wants to give police qualified, complete immunity. They want to make America white again, right? Do they really care about black life? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And before anybody starts talking about, well, what about Biden? Yeah, what about Biden? He didn't do a damn thing for the family of Emmett Till. All we got for Emmett Till is a statue. All we got for Tulsa, Oklahoma was a museum and symbolism. But Viola Fletcher, who now is not with us anymore, God rest her soul, one of the last living survivors, never got a reparations package. That was under a Democratic leadership run DOJ. And then under this Donald Trump DOJ, you definitely know that they're not really going to do a damn thing. They straight America, make America white again, because we're talking about Mississippi. Now, I digress. Let's get back to the judge.
If there's anyone that's truly willing to live up to the oath they swore as a law enforcement officer, as a judge, if you're willing to live up to that oath and be unbiased and do a true investigation and consider the facts fairly, please step up. And if you can't do the job fairly, please step aside. This is too serious. You have too many educated people watching this case now, and we're not going to let you get away with murder, potentially with.
Right, murder, definitely. Let me read this real quick from X-Man Rogue saying, white nationalist fascism they're recruiting young white boys in chat rooms and PlayStation and Xbox live games and now recruit young white. Yeah, they use it as a recruiter. But another thing that y'all noticed something else too? Let me hip y'all to something else that's going on. When you talk about they're recruiting white boys in these gaming rooms, we got them all over YouTube. Let me tell you why. If any of you guys like to watch these YouTube channels where they talk about sci-fi movies, they talk about this, the Marvel movies, the DC universe, you got all these, you got Nerd Erotica. He's a straight racist. All of these little nerd channels where they got criticism about the movies and the movie industry going down, or they got criticism about Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman or whatever movie. You get these white men, these white boys that get up on these panels. They be on a panel and they spend all their time talking about negatively about movies. They especially hate when these movies like Star Wars and Marvel movies have black prominent characters. So then they talk their racism when it's a black character in a Star Wars movie and they get up on their panels, he-hine and spilling out all their racism, acting as if they're just, we're just comic book and video game and sci-fi and Marvel and superhero, enthusiasts. That's all. We just want everything to be equal. The DEI type talk, right? You got a bunch of channels like that on YouTube. And when you listen to them, you'll think, oh, they're not racist. And as you listen to them, you see the racism. You see it in their thumbnails. Oh, this is so what you just said is true. There's a whole community of them type of people that's on YouTube channels. There's a channel that I've been looking at because I like to see what the opposition is talking about called Pro something. And they be on there talking like they all intelligent and they be talking all that convert racism, all that, they try to use these little smoke screens with their racism. Remember, Neely Fuller Jr. told us that white supremacists, and this is white supremacy means what? White people that think they're supreme to us. It doesn't mean that they are. But what they do is, as Neely Fuller Jr. told us, is that they take both sides of the argument. These white supremacists will take the liberal argument and they'll take the conservative argument. They'll take the Republican argument. They'll take the Democrat argument. You know why I know this is true? Look at this guy, Graham Plattner, who just got himself in trouble. And you got white liberals on social media trying to make excuses for this guy who had a Nazi tattoo underneath the tattoo he covered it up with and had some racist espousing on Reddit. I'm about to do a video about that, a short little video. Let's get back to what's on topic here. Back to the judge.
No one being held accountable. We're not going to do it. Whoever did something.
Jay the Informant, thank you. Geek Gamers, right. They all be on some racist stuff. Jody's Corner. Right. Hey, Jay the Informant. I'm thinking about still doing a video about them dudes over there at Jody's Corner. I used to watch Jody's Corner. I didn't know he was like that. I had to cut loose of that. But I might have to, just to let you know, brother, I might have to clip, because I was trying to look for that video elsewhere. I might have to clip your video that you did about it, because I might still talk about it. So just giving you a heads up. I'll give you credit, Dom. Definitely let everybody know where I got the clip from and that you was talking about the issue first and that people should go and subscribe to your channel. So make sure y'all check out Jay the Informant, everybody. And Jay the Informant, I got to tell you something else too. And what's going on, Oh Reliable? I was supposed to do an Umar Johnson video today that I had prepared for you guys that was going to blow you away with some stuff that I prepared. But when this came out, when I woke up early this morning and saw this brother's video, I said, because of time sensitivity, I said I needed to do this today. And then the Umar Johnson video, I think I'll end up doing that either Friday night or Wednesday. I'm going to do it I can't do it during the week because Honors usually goes live. And some of you guys that watch his stuff will be wanting to watch that. So I'm going to probably have to maybe wait till next weekend to do what I wanted to do with the Umar Johnson stuff this weekend. But it'll be well worth the wait when you see what I put together. it's gonna really blow you away. Let's get back to the judge. I'm sorry, everybody, to get off topic, but let's get back on topic.
And need to let that jury of their peers decide their guilt or innocence. The standards for an arrest warrant is simple, probable cause to believe a crime has been committed. The judge has to have probable cause, more likely than not, that a crime has been committed.
Right. Reddit is a racist platform. That's true.
It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's probable cause, more likely than not. That's a very low burden to meet. And the evidence needs to get to a judge pretty soon.
It's okay, Jay. I'll just clip it, brother. I can clip it.
Arrest at some point, I do believe it's still going to be a long process.
If you want to send it, you can send it to my email. You know the email.
The local judge, the municipal judge, as I was, would have to do the arraignment and decide whether or not the individual or individuals get bail and what that bail amount will be. If it's a capital offense or if it's a first degree murder charge or manslaughter charge or whatever it may be, kidnapping, aggravated assault, that the judge will have to set bail.
Right. Everything that you're saying, brother, is the right procedure. But will they do this, brother Moore, Judge Moore, all due respect to you, will they do this in the state of Mississippi where you already have said that they got issues? Let me go. I want to read this as someone put in the chat room. Yeah, racism is everywhere now. As black streamers on TikTok, as a black streamer on TikTok, I always get racist people joining my live just to call me the N-word for no reason. This is a shame. X-Man Rogue says, I didn't know that Reddit was Reddit is another one of those places where these racist people like to convene together, right? And guess who owns Reddit? I hate to say it. Serena Williams? Not Serena Williams. Serena Williams' husband, right? What is it? Is one of the Williams sisters, her husband, I think, originally owned it. I think let me see, Alex, who is actually married to William, one of the Williams sisters, right? Either Venus, no, it's Serena. He married to Serena Williams. Yeah, he owns the platform, and you got a lot. I mean, you got people over there. You got black folks on Reddit. You know, I got a Reddit account too. You got a number of communities on Reddit of different racial, black people over there, but you do have people that harbor racist views on these social media platforms. You got the same people on TikTok. Hell, you got people on YouTube. Matter of fact, my man, Real Aaron Collins, do you remember me saying this some years ago, brother? That one night I went through a deep rabbit hole. I went into a deep rabbit hole on YouTube and found all these racist channels with their logos being, and YouTube said that they're not supposed to allow you to have racist symbolism on your channel. Your channel art, your logo, your board, all that. So, and I found all kind of deep stuff that was going on YouTube. I mean, I went deep into a rabbit hole and I reported a lot of these channels because YouTube is supposed to not allow these kind of channels to thrive on their site. But you'd be surprised the kind of people that be on these same platforms that you enjoy using yourself. Facebook is no different either. Let's get back to the judge. I'm going to let this whole thing play out. I'm not going to say anything else about anything else other than what the topic is. Go ahead.
Or decide or denied. Will the persons be flight risk? All that has to be taken into consideration. From there will be a preliminary hearing likely where the evidence will be presented to that local judge who will get to decide whether or not to bind it over to a grand jury or to dismiss the charge. Once it's bound over to a grand jury, it'll be up to the grand jury to decide what to actually indict the individuals for. And then once there is an indictment or indictments are secured, individuals will have to stand trial or if they plead not guilty, they get to stand trial. Otherwise, if they plead guilty, it could go immediately to sentencing. you would expect, based on what I've seen so far, that there won't be any guilty pleas automatically, and this probably will go to trial. You have contradicting stories. You have Katie that's saying one thing. You have
Right, Aaron.
that's saying another. I see Katie has not lawyered up, from what I have been told, and she's been speaking freely, and her family's been speaking freely. Whereas I understand that some others have decided not to speak to the press and have lawyered up. And people are entitled in this country. You are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. There's nothing wrong with lawyering up. In fact, if it was my family, I would advise my family to remain quiet too. That's what lawyers do. We advise them to remain quiet. They have a right to remain quiet. And a lot of times you remain quiet for good reason, because anything you say can and will be
used against you
in a court of law.
Mm-hmm.
But people also have a right to be suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Why individuals lawyered up so fast? Why are they not talking? This is serious. It's serious business. People's potential freedom
Facts.
are on the line, and somebody has lost their life. Someone has lost their life. At least the people that's alive still have a fighting chance. You never know what a jury in Mississippi will do.
Uh-oh.
You know that no one ever was held accountable for Emmett Till's murder.
All right. See, Emmett Till, y'all been talking about it today.
Evidence, the overwhelming evidence. No one was ever held accountable. I can only hope and pray that in 2026, 2027, should the facts be presented to a jury of peers, that it'll be given reasonable consideration, and that if the facts are proven beyond a reasonable doubt, that the individuals that may soon be arrested and tried for the death, for their role in the death of Nolan Wells, will be held accountable.
Right. That's what I hope
for, and we will have to live with whatever the jury's verdict is, because in this country, if you go through the entire process, we live with the verdict of the jury. And it has to be a unanimous verdict, and they get to decide guilt or an acquittal. And if they cannot agree, it's a hung jury, and the prosecution gets to decide if they try the case again. They can continue to try it again until they get a unanimous decision one way or the other. So it's gonna be a long road ahead. Keep the Wells and Wansley's family in your prayers. They have to deal with all of this in a very public light. They are not allowed to grieve privately because of the very public nature of this death. And so it's a lot to process. One day your life is going as normal, and the next day you are thrown in the limelight. But I applaud the parents for standing together and fighting for answers. And they have been very good. They are not accusing anybody of anything. They just simply want answers. And once those answers are given and properly investigated, they are hoping that the right thing is done. And that's my hope too. Whatever the evidence leads to, as long as there has been a thorough investigation, I'm willing to accept that. But I do not want anyone getting any favoritism. I want a complete, thorough investigation, and I'm glad another independent investigation is going alongside the law enforcement investigation. Again, I had the privilege of serving the great people of Mississippi, because the people of Mississippi, for a large part, certain people great in Mississippi. I used to call the state great. I no longer will refer to it as a great state of Mississippi, because it still has a lot of growing to do. It's not a place that I feel comfortable living any longer and raising my family. And I would encourage any of my friends to move to Mississippi in this current configuration. It's a dangerous place. It's a dangerous place with a deep-seated racism.
Boom. The judge said it's a that Mississippi, he wouldn't recommend anybody to live there. It's a very dangerous place with a deep-seated racism. He said it. He said it, and I appreciate him telling the truth like he did.
Tell the truth.
Let me just hit y'all with a little bit of this as we get ready to come to a conclusion. I appreciate y'all. Just a little bit of this when they had that press conference with Ben Crump and everybody. Just a little reminder. I played this the other night.
On the island. And so it's not adding up. And so they go get the phone. And you hear her tell herself, when her and her sister start going through his phone, Jared, they realize that there are deleted messages, so they're trying to figure out, well, why are there deleted messages on his phone? I mean, it becomes relevant when you start putting everything together where we can't just say, oh, there's no instance of foul play. We're going to get to the...
All right.
You are listening
Tell the
to
truth.
Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
I want to say thank you, everybody, for watching the program today. I'm going to conclude right there. Thank you. I thank the judge, this brother, Carlos Moore, who is practicing at law in Tennessee, resides and lives in Atlanta, Georgia. ATL used to be a judge in Mississippi. He says Mississippi has deep racism, deep-rooted hate. It's a very dangerous state. Said he wouldn't recommend anyone to live there, especially of our skin tone. And that's why I'm concerned about whether Nolan's going to get the justice. If there was some foul play, I'm concerned about how they're handling the evidence. Are they dotting the I's? Are they crossing the T's? Are they really combing every little bit of evidence? And are they going to ever bring anybody in that was amongst him right here on this boat, in this crowd? Because we certainly know if the roles were reversed and Nolan was a white boy and he was on a boat with 3 black guys that invited him to a trip and something was to happen, all hell would break loose, as Mississippi would be like, we ready to hang. You know how Mississippi is. All hell would break so loose that they would be out there saying, we want to hang them boys, bring them out, just as their ancestors would do. They could lynch you and they could do a legal lynching on you, so to speak. And a physical one. You just never know. The brother just said, the retired judge just said that Mississippi can be a very dangerous place and that it's not the great state that he thought it was before when he was saying that. You know, he was saying that because he was a judge and he has to say certain things. But now the gloves are off and he told the truth. I appreciate you all. Take care. Make sure you hype the video. Make sure you hype the video, everybody. Share the video on all your social media. If you got X, if you got Facebook, you got the Instagram threads, whatever it may be, Facebook, put it wherever you can. Put it in your community tab. Share the video. Let this video reign through the algorithms. And I appreciate you all. Have a good rest of your evening. And I will, my next video, when I go live again, I will be covering something about Umar Johnson that I think is a unique issue to Umar Johnson. And it's going to blow you away. That video that I was supposed to do today, but this breaking story came to my attention this morning. So with that said, everybody, you take care of yourself. Tell someone that you love them. I just wanted to put that up there for a while. Let that marinate in your mind. And tell someone that you love them. Kiss someone that you care about, because, hell, his family never thought that on 4th of July weekend that their son would not be coming through those doors again. The whole thing smells stinky to high. It smells real stinky. Something, is the word we've been saying, does not add up. I appreciate you all. Let's get ready to get out of here. Y'all take care. Peace.
I feel the day you gone.
Peace.
The most beautiful girl I've ever known. I'll find a way to treat you better. I swear.
Y'all take care.
No one out there like you. You teach me to be better. My talk is cheap. Keep asking what I do. I'll fly you to the moon. like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you.
Tell the truth.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you.
Miss that smile, Lord knows I ain't seen that in a while, but it's your style, so something must be up keeping you down. You a queen that must be heaven sent. Pray my soul, I must repent for not telling you what I meant and how I felt. Honestly, I'm used to throwing wishes in a well. My conscience tells me that I could have helped without fail. Actions speak louder than words, and that's a lesson that I learned all by myself.
Take care, everybody. I appreciate you all in that chat room. Everybody supporting the channel. Thank you.
She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you.
Baby, stress is all around us, these high ceilings, and I need it, baby. Pressure and make diamonds, I won't steal it, baby. Silent, baby, hurts to see you crying, know you trying, ain't no lying, baby. When I say I need you, greedy if I have to share you. It was me that all along did you wrong, thinking that I made you beautiful and strong. This toxicity, the death of me, I fear the day you gone. The most beautiful girl I've ever known.
I'll find a way to treat you better. I swear there's no one out there like you. You teach me to be better. My talk is...
Information is power.